So, Sandy, I would love to introduce you. Sandy is one of these guys. I've only known him for a short period of time, but once you get to know him, you instantly feel like he's a great guy to know. And he was able to come on the show today last minute because we had a cancellation. So we're very appreciative for him being here. But before we get started with the interview, I'd like to just say a few things about Sandy. He is the co-founder and director of the Westchester Angels, which, if you're not familiar with angel investing, they're private people who invest money in startups. And we'll be talking to him about angel investing. But in addition, he also has an incredibly distinguished career. He's a partner in Carna Mills, which is a large textile converting company with clients like Ralph Lauren and the Guess company, the company that makes Guess jeans. And he is also a product development manager, or was a product development engineer, working at 3M, and he got a patent, yippee, on improved type of Velcro. And he worked next to Art Fry, who was the inventor of the Post-it note. And beyond all of this, or in addition, he's an athlete. He's swam 3 triathlons. He's swum around Manhattan.
Ironman
triathlon. Swam around Manhattan, and as far as we know, didn't pick up too many diseases. And he's also swam the English Channel. He was the 470th person to swim the English Channel. And so, Sandy, my first question is, what do you think about when you're swimming the English Channel?
Think about getting to France.
That is truly amazing. Like, that is a lifetime accomplishment.
It was a very long day. Next time I want to go from England to France, I'm going to take the Channel. It's a lot easier. But what you think about is, when you're swimming in open water, it's not like you're running or you're biking. You can't use any of your senses. It's like putting your brain in a box and putting it underwater. It's just you and you and you. And, I covered a lot of the problems of the universe during that 13 hours and 6 minutes.
So I used to be a swimmer too. I still am a bit of a swimmer. And the reason I asked the question is because swimming can get to be, you have to figure out how to occupy your mind, counting flip turns and whatnot. So being in the water for, I don't know how long it took you, 15, 20 hours, whatever it was.
13 hours and 6 minutes.
Oh, that's a good time for the Channel. Yeah.
13 hours?
Yeah.
It's and it's cold water. It's the whole thing. It's a cold water swim. You get 60 degrees and there's no wetsuit allowed. You're not allowed to have any advantages over Matthew Webb, who was the first gentleman to swim the English Channel in 1875. And he swam the English Channel breaststroke, because there was no freestyle, on a diet of warm beef, brandy, and ale, which is really not a really good way to deal with cold water. But, and just when you think you've done something incredible, there was a young lady, and I forget her name, I apologize, who is a breast cancer survivor, and last year swam the English Channel 5 times in a row.
Whoa.
England to France, 52 hours.
Wow.
So I will tell you that the very last thing on my mind after 13 hours and struggling with cold water and waves and jellyfish and fatigue and pain and misery, the very last thing I thought about when I hit France was swimming back to England. Is just no way.
Well,
no way. She did it 5 times, 52 hours. And, there's no limit to the human capabilities. Once somebody's motivated, there's absolutely no limit of what we can accomplish. So my hat's off to anybody that, runs the first 10K or runs or swims a mile. Whatever it is, it's an individual accomplishment, and there's no limit to what we can accomplish if you're properly motivated.
Let's talk a little bit about angel investing. And you're the head of the Westchester Angels. You started the group, and tell us a little bit about what angel investors do. A lot of our audience is interested in starting their own companies. And of course, getting money is sometimes a piece of that. So why don't you describe the angel process for our viewers?
I have to tell you, it's such a fascinating space. There's no shortage of startups looking for funding, especially in the New York City and Westchester area. About 10 years ago, just a real brief history, my financial planets became aligned. I'm very privileged, and I started a nonprofit in Westchester just to help small business owners not make some of the same mistakes I've made in business. And I spent 25 years in the garment center, and that business had closed a while ago. And I dealt with some of the most challenging people on the planet. And I just wanted to prevent small business owners from making some of the same mistakes I made. And we help people that want to open up a local deli, a hair salon. You mean, what's an LLC? Why do I have to open up an LLC? Those kind of basic questions. And we work through the United Way and an SBA lender, one of the largest in the area, Community Capital New York. They fed us clients. And I had 17 carefully vetted volunteers that weren't selling their services under our umbrella. And we helped about 65, 70 companies. And we started running into companies that had scalable business models that were suitable for angel investing. We didn't know much about angel investing. My co-partner, Jeff Lair, and I, literally over a couple of beers on a Sunday, we planted the flag and said, now we're the Westchester Angels. And we treated ourselves like a startup. So back to answer your question, Richard, angel investing, we're the first people in the ladder that a startup is going to come to for funding after friends and family. So after Uncle Fred gives the grandson or the granddaughter a couple of bucks because we love you, I have no idea what you're doing, we're the next ones in line. We have the most risk. We're dealing with a lot of pre-revenue companies. Sometimes we're dealing with revenue companies that are just coming up the right side of the hockey stick. There's a little bit of revenue, so there's some market validation. So it's, everybody knows about Shark Tank on TV, and Shark Tank's done a really good job of educating the public about what angel investing is about, but we're real life angel investors. And we fund startups from A to Z. It's a really fascinating space. There's over 100 accelerators and incubators in Manhattan alone. It's a tremendous feeding system for the angel groups in the New York area. In addition to running the Westchester Angels, I also started an initiative called the New York Area Angel Alliance, which brings together all of the leaders of all of the angel groups in the tri-state area, the Golden Seeds, the 37 Angels, the Gangels, the Harvard Business Alumni School. And we all get together every month for monthly deal flow calls. So we're very fortunate that we're able to do that. And the Westchester Angels were the new guys on the block, and we're getting really good deal flow because we're getting referrals from some of the biggest angel groups in New York City. And it's going to take me out to my old age. There's no shortage of startups. It's a fun space. Certainly intellectual property is part of the conversation a lot of times when we do due diligence. There's no shortage of startups looking for funding. No
Sandy,
shortage.
can I ask you, do you specifically do tech? Do you do all different technologies? Will you do fashion? Will you do consumer products, or are you in a niche?
We look at all industries. We don't go to biotech because that's a very long market validation process, clinical trials. So we're not looking at chemicals or molecules going through trials, but we're pretty open to every other industry. We just partnered with Jumpstart Angels in New Jersey, back in your backyard, and we're sharing deal flow with them, and that is a very exciting relationship. But most angel groups would be open to most industries. And then it really gets down to the expertise that you have within your membership once you get into due diligence.
So if I'm a CEO and I'm starting a business and I want to approach an angel group for funding, what do I need to know?
The first thing you need to know is that angels only make money if there's an exit. So if you're looking to start a business and grow it, but not to sell it or have an exit, angel investors would not be the place for you to look for funding. We only make money upon an exit.
And by exit, you mean the sale of the company?
That's correct.
Of some sort, either to a larger company or.
Yeah. And usually if a startup says that my exit is an IPO, we usually say next. That rarely happens. I haven't seen it happen yet in 5 years with the angels investing, even in the tri-state area with all the other angel groups. So yeah, it's you have to want, and in your slide deck, you're just starting your business and you have to tell us simple-minded angels how you're going to sell it. It's kind of like an oxymoron. You're just starting it, but you have to give us a compelling reason of how you're going to scale your business, and what your plans are to sell it. You know, ideally a 3 to 5 year window, and that's what angel investors look for. If you're looking to grow your business but you're not looking to sell it, you know, angels would not be for you.
So Sandy, do you give a lot of counseling is my first question. And then my second question is, what percentage of the exit funds do you take?
It depends upon the cap table. Usually our investors are going to invest anywhere from 10 to 25,000. Some other angels will put more in. So it's, if you're investing, it's a constant struggle between increased valuation and dilution in subsequent rounds. I don't know if I could put it in terms of a percentage. Every deal is always different. Okay. You know, it's a really collaborative space. All the angel groups in the tri-state area, we collaborate. It's not competition. And this is a risky investment. On average, 70% of angel investments across the country are going to fail. So you shouldn't be investing with house money. You have to be an accredited investor. But we do 2 things or 3 things to help eliminate the risk. We do a lot of due diligence. We have a lot of fun along the way. We're serious about investing, but we add a lot of value. We want to help startups succeed, whether we write a check out or not. And we learned a long time ago that you can't help people that don't want help. We've run into 23-year-olds that have never received a paycheck before in their life, and they seem to have amassed all the business knowledge on the planet at that ripe young age of 23. You know, I'm 62. I'm still learning. I keep learning. So we can't help people that don't want help. 99% of the people that come to us, the startups, we're here to help startups. You know, I spend, after this call, I'm on 2 calls this afternoon, referrals of companies that are looking to start in the angel process. And I get a lot of enjoyment by helping startups set their expectations properly. You know, if there's a gestation period, if you're looking to raise $500,000, that's going to take you 6 months from angels, you know, and there's a process. You know, you're going to apply to angels on a platform. Usually it's GUST, G-U-S-T, or Proceeder, and the startups will put their applications on that platform. And then every angel group has the same sort of procedure. We'll screen those applications. We'll interview, our screening committee will interview 8 startups in order to select the 3 that are most compelling to pitch to our investors. And then the only objective for the founder or the startup is to continue to get to the next conversation. You know, you want your application to stick out so you get screened. You want to do a good job in pitching and your presentation so you get selected to pitch to investors. And then your only obligation is to get into due diligence. And that due diligence could take weeks or months, depending upon the complexity, the logistics, vacations. And then there's a document review. So we advise startups, if you're looking to raise money, raise enough money that's going to last you a year or year and a half, because there's a time involved in raising money from angels, and that's going to take a lot of time away from running your business. So we want to see startups raise whatever they're going to raise, and then have enough money, unless there's a significant trigger that's going to significantly increase your valuation. We want them to spend the time to raise money and then concentrate 100% on running their business. And
So
we're here to
Sandy,
help along the way.
what makes you think the business is saleable? What are sort of some common characteristics of successful deals that you've seen?
It's all business is 100% about people. We invest in good people. We invest in good teams. We would rather invest in a great team with a good idea than a great idea and a bad team. You know, well, Warren Buffett said it best, you can't make a good deal with a bad team. You can't do it. We invest in people. And that's why we had, before COVID, had a geographic limitation of, about 100-mile radius, because we want to spend time with the startup. We want to know, can you run a business? I mean, if you can't answer a question from an angel, or if you can't put a compelling story in an 8-minute pitch, how are you going to run a business? We invest in people. And that's the best answer I could give you, Richard, is, angels, we invest in people. And I don't care if you run a local deli or you're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. It's all about people. The business always starts at the top. The karma of the company is always about the people that run the company.
That's a great insight. I guess different founders will connect with different investors. And so that may be part of it is the chemistry, but also it's maybe experience and really taking the time to study your business and your market and coming up with really good reasons why you're going to be successful. So I've certainly sat in on my share of angel groups, and really successful CEOs run the gambit in terms of their personalities. You have the really geeky guys, you have the powerful women, you have just a whole range of personalities. Yeah. But when they talk about their business, at least, you can say, well, yeah, that makes sense. And you've thought about this. And I think you've got something here. And I think you can make it to the goal line, right?
Yeah. And, it's such a thriving community here in the tri-state area. You have the Gangels, which is a huge enterprise. They're the LGBTQ plus angel group. They're going national. You have the 37 Angels, the Golden Seeds, that primarily invest in female-led startups. It's a thriving community. Every angel group has its own temperament and personality, but we're all have the same motivation to help. And at the Westchester Angels, we don't really care if you're from Venus or Mars. We don't really care who you sleep with. We don't see the color of your skin. It's insignificant. The color of your skin, to quote Bob Marley, is of no more significance to us than the color of your eyes. We only see shades of green. That's all we're looking at. We're only looking at shades of green. Can you run a business?
Right.
And can we make money? Is there a possibility that we're going to be one of the few investors in the startup where there's going to be an exit and we're going to have a return? Most angel investors create a well-diversified portfolio like you would do in your 401k. Because we're going to have a lot of failures. And, angels, we say no a lot, and I'm the one from the Westchester Angels. I get to say no a lot. I've heard 1,000 pitches in the last year and a half. I think I've written 4 or 5 checks out. I got to tell you, I hear a lot of really bad pitches. Like you just want to scream sometimes, but cream rises to the top, and we don't say no. We say au revoir. Come back to us when you've made some more progress. Yeah, we're here to help because I understand the pain of a failed business. I lived through a pain of a failed business. When our business, we had a thriving business in Manhattan in the garment center. We were large fabric suppliers, as Richard said, and I saw our business explode from the outside in and the inside out. So I have a soft heart for startups, and a lot of people don't realize this, but sometimes it's a leap of faith. You have an idea, you have this passion, and maybe you leave your 9-to-5 job with a paycheck and a 401k and your health benefits, and you're taking a leap of faith to start a startup with an unknown future. I get that. I get that. So
Yeah.
we help wherever we can.
Well, I think it's a good idea for anybody who wants to pitch to angels or to anybody to go watch a bunch of pitches first.
Oh,
And I wanted to give Kenya a chance to ask a question.
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth. I just had a question. What are some characteristics of a bad pitch?
That's a conversation for cocktails one day. But a characteristic of a bad pitch is talking about your business from your point of view, not your audience's point of view. Everybody thinks their thing is the best thing since sliced bread. You know, we don't really want to hear about the motivation you had in 4th grade of why this happened. That's not insignificant to us. The biggest mistake that startups make in their pitch is they give it from their point of view, not the investor's point of view. And you have to make it simple. You know, we're average-minded people with different backgrounds, and you know, sometimes if it's a complicated business, you have to make it simple. Another couple of things are all about slide decks. We don't read business plans. It's an 8-minute pitch. Some angel groups will give you 10 minutes, some 6. Your slide deck has to enhance what you're speaking of and not take away your audience attention. So simple things like the font is too small or the slide is too complicated. Now I'm spending time looking at the slide and not listening to you pitch. And the most important thing that startups leave out is how they're going to execute. You know, this is the product. I'm making another drink that's going to go on Whole Food shelf, or I'm creating something that, you know, new and novel. I may or may not have IP protection. You know, I want to know how you're going to scale your business, how you're going to go from here when you have no revenue or just a little bit of revenue to $20 million or $30 million, so you can get bought out by $500,000, $1 billion. And we have a promise we make to all the startups that we invest in. On an exit, you buy the yacht, the Westchester Angels will buy the beer.
So do you have an example of somebody that went through your program and bought the yacht?
Not yet. We're really close. You know, we're really close. We have a couple of pearls in our oyster, the best investment we've made. And I actually led around with 5 different angel groups. It was in a company called Ocrolus. They're in the fintech business. Okay. And if you are a small business lender, you're going to get uploaded documents of bank statements and things to review the application. And they actually have a back office in India, and I did a lot of business in India. We actually checked out their back office in India as our due diligence, and we had a saying that sun never sets on the Westchester Angels due diligence effort, because we actually had a friend of mine visit their back office. But we invested in a $5 million valuation. Sam Bobley, the CEO, really a great young entrepreneur, named Forbes 30 under 30. Their last raise was over $200 million valuation. They're going to get bought out. It's just a matter of when. That's the pearl in our oyster. They've been named the largest, fastest growing fintech company in the United States.
What did he do right, Sandy?
He surrounded himself with a good team of people. He understands people. He's grown his company incrementally. He's kept angel investors informed so we could add additional value if possible. But he understood that business is about people. And you have to get rid of the wrong people right away, and you have to encourage the right people to do the right thing. It only takes one bad person in a room to stink up the entire room. So he understands how to scale a business because he's hired the right people to help him to scale. And I think he's got really good partners. He's got a good business model. And here's a situation, you know, it's all artificial intelligence. It's not a lot of IP in this business. You know, he's going to get bought out. It's just a matter of where he wants to draw the line.
So Sandy, this has been such a fascinating conversation, and we really appreciate the depth of your knowledge and your experience. I know that you've helped a lot of our audience out there. Unfortunately, we have to cut to a commercial, and we'll be right back. We hope that you can stay with us for the rest of the program and maybe advise some of our presenters on, some tips and tricks and things that might help them out. So
I'm here to help, and I would be glad to stay on the line to help however I can. Thank you, Richard.
That's fantastic. So you are listening to Passage to Profit on WOR 710, the voice of New York. We'll be right back after this break.